Over the next several minutes, you'll witness the construction of the most prestigious gym facility on the planet, completely out of Lego. But there's a catch. This establishment is occupied by much angrier gym members. Welcome to Planet Hulk. Allow me to introduce our gym members. First up, Broda. For the longest time, this little green booger man thought size mattered not. That was until he experienced the sweet taste of raw protein, and now look at him. A big, lean, green lifting machine. Next we have Dumbbellmo. In a previous life, his job was teaching children about colors and how to count. But now the only counting he does is how many more reps he can do than that lanky yellow bird friend of his. Say hello to Michelangelo. We all know what happens when a baby turtle is exposed to green mutagen slime, but this is what happens when a teenage turtle is exposed to protein. He was sick of being the laughing stock of his brothers and decided to get serious at the gym to prove them wrong. This is Mr. Abs. To him, there's only one thing better in this life than cold, hard cash, and that's arm day. Or I guess, claw day for him. Larry the Lobster wishes he could be this jacked. While Plankton works on his nerdy science projects with his computer wife, Mr. Abs is married to the love of his life, the gym. Next up, Brosk. He was tired of being in second place behind Boba Fett when it came to collecting bounties. Now he decided to hit the gym and get shredded, so next time he scores the prize first. Finally, we have Broshi. He's only been going to the gym because his boys have been making fun of him for laying eggs. In trying to regain his self-image and masculinity, he goes to the gym every day in hopes of one day swallowing his enemies and turning them into eggs, condemning them to eternal suffering inside the void of a speckled-shelled prison. So now that we've got our Planet Hulk gym members, it's time to build the gym itself. First things first, I'm going to design the gym digitally. That way I know the exact parts that I'm going to need to buy. I'm not the best at 3D modeling Legos. I usually just like to build them right in front of me, but I have a guy that can help me out. So this is my brains behind the operation, my guy in the chair, Aiden. Aiden, do you have anything to say to the people?
Yeah, this is such a cool...
All right, that's enough from Aiden. What's next? So now that I've kind of mapped out how I want everything to look digitally, we're going to go through Bricklink and kind of look at all the pieces that I've put in here and see if I can get them cheaper on Bricklink versus Lego.com and just kind of source all the pieces that we need. So you can see here, I uploaded my parts list of everything from that Bricklink Studio file. You can see a lot of it I've listed here in the little notes section of the listing if it's available on Pick-a-Brick or not on Lego.com. So a lot of them are available on Lego.com that I won't have to go through Bricklink, because sometimes it's a little bit more expensive to go through Bricklink, especially if you need to buy from multiple stores. So you can see a lot of these standard bricks like the 2x10, 2x3, and 2x6 are all available on Pick-a-Brick, but something a little bit more specialized like this 12 long bar here, I'm gonna have to get through Bricklink since it's not available on Lego.com. So I went through Lego's Pick-a-Brick website here and added everything in that I could that was available on the website here. That way I can buy as much from Lego directly versus Bricklink. I also referenced this list of pieces and looked through all my own pieces that I already own. That way I don't need to buy any extras since I already have some of what I need. Because even with as passionate as I am about my Lego projects, we're balling on a budget here.
One eternity later.
So as you can see here, everything has finally arrived. I got it all sorted out into all the different shapes and sizes that I need. I even have a popcorn bucket full of my 2x10 bricks here, because that wasn't going to fit in one of these trays. And I also have my studio program up here so I can reference it as I build. So I've got our 48x48 base plate all taken care of here, tiled off, plated off in the corner to build up the wall. This will be covered up later by something I'm putting in the corner, but I'm now realizing that these tiles are the wrong color. They're supposed to be dark gray, just like the rest of the border is here. These are the 4x4 tiles, but it looks like I accidentally ordered black 6x6 tiles. So when I display this at a convention, nobody's gonna know the difference except for me and anybody who watches this video. So don't be a snitch, okay? It's time to move on to the next step by building the wall of the gym. Alright, so finally after all that building, we have our finished product here for at least the wall part of the gym. And you can see there were a few areas where I had to get a little bit creative and stack some plates because I didn't end up having enough 2x6 or 2x10 bricks in tan, so I had to get a little bit creative there, but we made it through. Same with over by the doorway here. I didn't have enough tall column bricks, so I had to stack a bunch of 1x1 plates and bricks, but you can't really tell unless you look too close. And then on the right we have our big hole in the wall where one of our Hulks is going to be busting through the wall instead of using the proper doorway because he is a Hulk after all. And then over here you can see this 12 stud long black bar built into the wall. And this is actually what we're going to use to hang up the first part of our gym equipment. That being this black and red punching bag build that I came up with. I used a bunch of round 4x4 black bricks and then a couple 4x4 dark red plates. Then I connected some chains and a 1x1 modified brick, and it just slides right onto that bar. And that makes for the perfect hanging punching bag. And like I mentioned earlier, we're going to put something in the corner of the gym here to cover up this barren spot on the floor. So after a lot of building and a little bit of problem solving, this is our Lego boxing ring. You can see I used 1x1 bricks with studs on all sides to connect all the different cables to each corner of the boxing ring. Unfortunately, the cables are just like half a stud too long to fit in with the geometry of how I came up with this boxing ring, but it gives them a little bit of texture, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Some of them look a little bit straighter than others, like this other one back here that it's a little bit curvy, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And on the bottom of the boxing ring here, I added a bunch of these 1x2 ingot tiles for some extra detail. I was able to connect these ingot tiles by using some 2x2 modified bricks with studs on the side along the whole perimeter of the boxing ring. And then, just like I promised earlier, I covered up those exposed studs in the corner of the gym with some extra tiles and some modified plates to connect the boxing ring. So now it's super easy to place the boxing ring in the corner, or if I ever want to move it around, I can just take it off really easily since it's only on a few studs. And now that our boxing ring is complete, we're going to add another piece of gym equipment right here to the left of it next to the punching bag. And now after a bit of building, we've got our finished product bench press. You can see I used a lot of 1x1 bricks and plates to make up the tall structure of the bench press. Then I connected a bunch of bars with studs on them. That way there's pegs for the dumbbell to rest on, just like a real bench press. And then tiled off the top of it where somebody would be laying. And just like I mentioned earlier, we're going to set the bench press in between the punching bag and the boxing ring. And before we place all of our Hulks inside the gym with some accessories, I have one more thing that I want to add. Just like many other gyms in real life, it wouldn't be complete without the gym logo on the wall. I built this logo to look slightly like a real-life gym logo, but with some creative liberties. I started to build this logo by using an old Lego gear piece from the 1970s. Then I added a bunch of red pieces to tile it off and make it nice and smooth, and also added some letters to make the name of the gym. Then I added a single green Hulk hand with this dumbbell accessory to finish it off. And then we can place it right above the front door. I think it's only natural to have our boy Michelangelo in the back here practicing his ninja skills on the punching bag. Next we're going to give Brosk this giant dumbbell with some tires on it, and then place him on the bench press doing some reps in the back here. It seems like the boxing ring is the perfect place for Mr. Abs here. I mean, just look at those
big, meaty claws!
I put these 1x2 jumper plates on the boxing ring earlier for this specific purpose. That way I can put him at an angle and it looks like he's in a more natural movement. I also thought it would be appropriate to add in this Lego boxing minifigure for him to clobber. And of course, what would Dumbbellmo be without the very thing he's named after? I also made a weight rack for him similar to how I built the bench press. For Broshi, I gave him a black jump rope and some translucent clear pieces under his feet to make it look like he's mid-jump. This makes perfect sense since his original purpose was just to give Mario some extra air before he gets sent to his death in a bottomless pit. And as for Broda, he gets to be the one busting through the wall instead of using the front door. And this time, Luke gets to be on his back. If you enjoyed watching me build the best Lego gym of all time, let me know in the comments what your favorite part was, and don't forget to Hulk smash that subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.